Now, first of all, just tell me, Sanskriti, your first motivation, when you got motivated to come into civil services?
So actually, when I was in college, I never thought I would be giving the civil services exam.
Really?
I somehow was never interested in writing this exam, which has such a big hullabaloo in India. Then later on, once I finished college, I was not sure what I wanted to do. I wanted to explore different areas, and I was very lucky. I got this fellowship, and I worked as a legislative assistant to a member of parliament.
Okay.
And that is when I really got an insight into what is happening in the government, how policy is made, and I found the policy making issue quite interesting. And I realized that one of the best ways of contributing towards policy making in India is to become a civil servant. And that is why towards the end of my fellowship, which was in 2012, I decided to give this exam. I actually decided to give this exam quite late. I remember in 2012 the prelims were in May, and I started my preparation for the exam in March end.
Okay. So in March you started, and the same year you took prelims.
In the same year I took prelims. I did not even know what optionals I was going to take once I gave my prelims. And the mains were in October that year. And I had 2 optionals that year. I studied both the optionals in that short span of time.
Yes. I remember.
And that is when I had come to you.
Yes.
Because when I was deciding my optionals, I was always interested in philosophy, but I never thought I would be studying it in such depth and with so much enthusiasm. Now it is a subject I really love. I keep reading books in philosophy. I think philosophy has transformed the way I think quite significantly, and I can even see that in my day-to-day life now.
Okay. Yes, that's wonderful. Just please, for the aspirants, for benefit for aspirants, please give us your secrets about success every time you crack. All these 3 times you crack. So we just want to know what are your overall strategy for the preparation. Your general studies. First I'll ask with level 2 with respect to prelims.
So prelims is obviously the first hurdle you need to clear, because even though mains is such a mammoth exam to give, if you don't clear the prelims, it is all worthless, all the effort that you put in. And one cannot discount the amount of work that you need to put in prelims. What they are checking in prelims is the diversity of knowledge that you have. Can you cover all different areas or not? Are your concepts clear? Especially with the general studies paper in prelims, these days the questions have multiple options and you need to choose between multiple options. So just because you know a particular fact will not ensure that you might be able to solve the question. So this is the strategy for all of UPSC. Your foundation, your concepts in every subject needs to be very clear, so that even if you do not know what a particular answer might be in prelims, you should be able to make a good guesstimation of the answer itself. Then, as you said,
is it like a process of elimination?
It's not just a process of elimination. It has components of elimination, but you should be able to intuitively grasp what an answer is.
Okay.
For that you can only do once your concepts are clear and you haven't learnt everything by rote. So, for example, if you're looking at a basic thing in the economy section of the paper, if you truly understand how those RBI indicators like CRR and SLR are working, then you will be able to gauge whether something causes inflation or it does not cause inflation. How the money market might work. But if you're just trying to remember that if something is increased, something else is affected in the economy, then you might not be able to remember it at that point of time. That is why it is quite essential that your foundation is clear. If you look at geography, for example, I truly believe in map reading. I think maps are a visual image which you carry. Most of us know the geography of India quite well. So if one can remember how the Himalayas get formed, then any question on fold mountains can be answered by visualizing the Himalayas, whether it be any other fold mountain. Same goes with the older mountain structures. Then when it comes to science and technology, I think this would be especially helpful for people who have come from a science and technology background. I think we try to remember these points because we are always, when we see questions in science and technology, they are not based on the basic concepts that we have learned. But then again, if you use those concepts, answering those questions becomes easier. And I think, as I said, in prelims it's more about the diversity of your knowledge. So one should not just focus on being able to answer questions. The more one reads, the easier it is to give the examination. That is the general thing. But the most important thing in prelims, I think, is to solve as many question papers as you can.
Okay.
Because whatever said and done, reading a book and answering a question has two different strategies. If you answer more questions, then you know what the general current affairs trend is, because there are so many questions being prepared for prelims. And when you look at 4 options, even though you might know an answer to a particular question in question papers, if you put in the effort to find out every other option also what it means and what the general area that question is trying to cover, then you increase the diversity of knowledge in that particular area which is in the current affairs. And I think that strategy really helped me. It's easier also to study that way because once you have read all the NCERTs, essential reading for everyone. If you have read the basic economic survey, for example, if you have read the standard books in history like Bipin Chandra, if you've read Constitution by a book like D.D. Basu, then your concepts are clear. And then you don't need to keep revising those textbooks. But then when you do the questions, you are revising not just the concept but also what could be asked. And I think that really helps. You solve a question paper and don't just see your marks in that question paper and be satisfied. Go back and redo every question. So maybe you'll solve a question paper in 1 hour while you're doing it, but then you spend 4 hours after it analyzing every answer and every question properly.
Fine. Please apprise us about your general strategy for mains exam also.
Again, what mains exam is trying to see is your depth of knowledge, your analytical perspective to a particular issue, the ability to combine facts with your opinion and being able to give diverse opinions about a particular subject. What one is seeing is that one can look at a particular issue from multiple perspectives, from a social perspective, from a political perspective, from an economic perspective, from a common man perspective, from the perspective of a parliamentarian, of a member of the executive, difficulties in how implementation is happening. So a broad perspective is especially essential in the GS papers, especially in GS paper 2 and 3. GS paper 1 being more of history, geography and sociology. History and geography usually are more fact-based, but then again the new pattern of questions is looking more about how you've understood a particular event and how you see whether an event still has repercussions in today's day and age. I'll take an example. I recently reviewed the question papers from this year. For example, the first question in the GS paper was about urbanization today versus urbanization in the Indus Valley civilization. So one is not just talking about the big broad roads and the drainage systems, which we all know about. All aspirants, I think most aspirants would know something even better than what I know. But if you connect it to concepts like smart cities, about how planned development in our country is taking place, associated with the policy that is happening in our country at that point of time, then I think it would give a more overall picture to your answer.
So basically one need to have that analytical skills.
And analytical skills, one should be ready to form an opinion, one should be able to justify an opinion, and one should be able to look at something from multiple perspectives.